Ayo, welcome in to CHGO White Sox postgame show presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. It's a remote postgame show here. I am Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me to recap this game is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. Herb, you got to love when I immediately start screwing up the PointsBet read, the first thing that I am supposed to do. So that was always good to, get off the bat just making mistakes left and right. I feel good. I feel like the White Sox tonight.
It's all good. You got your guy, Oz Jr., my man's Oz Jr. in the house. Great intro. We appreciate that, Ozzy Jr. But, Sean, I mean, I know we have a structured show and we want to talk about things in order. But I don't know if you guys have parents that told you when you were kids, like sometimes there's going to be people who are tougher than you, stronger, better, faster, smarter. That's the realization that I got today, that the Yankees are just better than the White Sox. After a while, like getting mad about it is, I'm going to find a way. But after a while, it's just like, at that 7-run, 8th inning, I was like, this is how it should go.
Well, and it's funny because we talk about all the time of the White Sox wanting to be the smartest organization, and we got Vibe Runner saying, how does this keep happening? And Jake saying, why do we support this team? And I find it so funny that in the 8th inning, that 7-run 8th inning that you mentioned, the White Sox lose 15-7, by the way. I feel like we should mention that they fall to 15-15 on the year. But in that 7th or 8th inning, when they have Joe Kelly on the mound, Gleyber Torres comes up, out comes Ethan Katz, and they come and talk to Joe Kelly. And the game plan is throw curveballs to Gleyber Torres, apparently, because Joe Kelly can't locate his curveball at all. And it just feels so stupid that they're pitching around or not attacking Gleyber Torres, who's coming cold off the bench. And you see what it leads to. You see Josh Donaldson hitting a home run. He's done that to you before because he just played with Minnesota and saw all your pitching. And you know what? Aaron Judge has seen you so many damn times. He's seen you so many damn times, and he's hurt you every single time. He's played 17 games against the White Sox. He has 8 home runs against the White Sox. That's ridiculous. I think there was some stat that Stoney said 13 RBIs, I think it was, in the past 8 games against the White Sox. That's ridiculous. I don't understand why we're afraid of Gleyber Torres coming cold off the bench, but Aaron Judge is the guy we picked to choose to pitch to. Giancarlo Stanton is the guy we pitch to pitch to. Jesus. It's brutal, Herb. I don't understand it. It's less the matchups too. It's less Joe Kelly versus Stanton or Judge here. I know some people were upset at the matchups, but Tanner Banks versus Giancarlo Stanton, like that made any sense. It's brutal. I don't understand even the thought process of how they're pitching to these people. What is the scouting report? Tanny always said with Jason Kubel, it's just a blank sheet. Sometimes it feels this way with Stanton and Judge.
Yeah, and you said it right there. You have Joe Kelly, who everybody can see. He's trying to locate that curveball, and the ump's not giving it to him because it's off the plate. And the Yankees and Gleyber Torres, they have this plan to not swing at balls, not chase. They are really good at it, even though, Dylan Cease struck out a bunch of dudes and the Yankees struck out a bunch of times. They're not striking out on balls that are outside the zone. And he was spitting on a couple filthy curveballs that weren't in the strike zone, but just below it. And so, yeah, he walked 3 people. After he walked the third person, I was like, maybe go and get him.
Right.
Go and get him. Maybe it's not his night. Cool. And the first ball that was hit was a rocket shot to Lurie Garcia that Joe Kelly started off. So we're all about the process. The results were terrible, but what was the process of getting a person out when you had those 2 outs in hand and going after a guy who had a bat at that point?
Yeah, and he ends up throwing 6 curveballs, 6 out of 7 curveballs to Torres. He throws 1 sinker, and yet you see Giancarlo Stanton see 8 fastballs. He had an average exit velocity on those fastballs of 109. Do you know what? Maybe you shouldn't throw that guy a damn fastball. Let's look at Aaron Judge. You wonder what Aaron Judge did against the fastball? He saw 11 fastballs. He put 2 of them in play, and there's an average exit velocity of 107. That's not a hard hit ball. That's not a smoked ball. That's tearing the cover off the ball. That's what those 2 guys did to you twice. And I don't understand the thought process to pitching behind them. And we're getting away from where we wanted to start with, which was Dylan Cease. But I want to just end this part of the discussion because we'll obviously pick it up again a little bit later. But it's just frustrating to see. I don't even know if this is managerial moves. I don't know if you feel that way, but it just feels like bad baseball is what killed the Sox tonight again.
Yeah, the offense showed up. You got to have a plan against these guys. You understand that the Yankees are not missing balls. They're getting them. They're getting them, and they're crushing them. So walks breathe life into an offense. I don't know when the Dylan Cease thing we'll get into a little bit more. The second plate appearance by Giancarlo Stanton, it looked like Yasmani wanted an elevated fastball, a fastball out of the zone so he would flail at it. Nope, middle. What do you expect? You know,
Right.
you miss location. I'm sure, everybody messes up and he missed location there, and that's the wrong person to do it against. So, yeah, it's really tough to realize, to come to this realization. And I know it's only one game and it only counts as one loss, but the last 7 games have not been kind to the White Sox. All but the corn game, the White Sox have lost. Most of those games the White Sox have been competitive in. This one, for the most part, except for the comeback, they weren't.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I'd say that they'd be competitive. I'd say that Dylan Cease had a competitive start, but the stat line and what the end result tells you might be a little bit different. We got Stephen Nicholas producing us tonight. You got something to chime in here,
guys? You want to know how bad the signs of the times are right now? We have
Hmm?
David Snyder in our comments asking for Robin Ventura out of retirement.
Well,
Pretty
Herb would
easy
love
good.
that.
I'm in for
Herb
it.
would love it. Yeah,
And he's a newly educated man.
You're damn
True.
right. He got his degree from Oklahoma State University. Yeah, I mean,
Hopefully that would help.
he was a bad manager, but he was undefeated as a player.
We have Robin Ventura mentions. We have Ozzie Guillen mentions.
Ozzie-
Everyone wants a new manager. I don't think that was the problem today. There was some questionable calls, but you give up 15 runs. What do you expect?
Well, and I think that's something too. James Fox said this well. Like, I mean, you paid $7 million for Joe Kelly. Of course, you're going to use him in the 8th inning. Guys have to go out and perform. Joe Kelly walked 4 guys. That's the issue right there. It's execution on him. I think that, Cease, you could maybe say that it's a little bit of execution why he failed today, but I wouldn't even say that using the word fail is a little bit too harsh. I think the White Sox failed offensively, and it's funny to say that because they scored 7 runs, which is a miracle for this offense, but I feel like they failed. You look at Luis Gil compared to Dylan Cease tonight. Luis Gil wasn't much better than Dylan Cease. That's a 2-pitch pitcher right there that the White Sox couldn't figure out. He's throwing fastballs 60% of the time, and here's Jose Abreu not able to do nothing with these fastballs. I mean, Tim Anderson going up against Luis Gil's fastballs, I mean, that's concerning right there. Tim Anderson, I think he had 7 whiffs on 10 swings today. I mean, completely missing the ball. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Let's go into the pitching and keep that discussion, though, because you mentioned Giancarlo Stanton and Cease missing those spots. Let's go not to this graphic, Steven, but can we go to the balls in play from Giancarlo Stanton versus Dylan Cease? It's the 2 home runs here, and we'll talk about missing location. In the first at-bat, he goes down 3-1 versus Giancarlo Stanton. It was a bad location, and he hit it 116 miles, 397 feet. It was a line drive, only got 49 feet off the ground. Just a liner out to the goose there. And let's look at the location where that one was, and we'll look at the location where the second pitch was. In this first at-bat, though, he almost gets it to 2-2. He barely misses a called 3 strike at the bottom of the zone. And then he goes to, Steven, do we have the graphic of the pitch mix of where Cease had 2 balls in play for Stanton?
I am bringing it in right now. You give me just a second.
My bad. All right. Well, so
you're good.
He goes 2-2. He could have gone 2-2. Very close pitch, just missed it. Then has to go into the zone. And I thought it was a good 1-1 pitch. He just missed it, but then down 3-1, he completely had a bad location on it. Stanton lined it out to left field, and he was looking fastball on a fastball count, and that's what's going to happen against Stanton.
Yeah, and that home run, and then it's still on the on our screen right now. So the people who are listening on the podcast tomorrow are like, "Man, why is Herb wincing?" I was looking at it and remembering how hard that ball was hit, and why that dude tried to catch the ball. Don't you go and get a hole in yourself. And I saw a stat that Dong put out that it would only been out of 19 of the 30 ballparks. So I was like, the 11 others would have had a sizable hole in that right center field wall because he absolutely crushed it. I haven't seen a home run hit that hard in a while.
Right. Yeah. Well, and
absolutely murdered
until he does it again in the 3rd inning, and then until again when Aaron Judge does it in the 7th inning. But looking at where these locations were, he missed 3-1, just left it right over the middle of the plate. Stanton extends his arms, kills that one, and then the second at bat, he got a good first pitch fastball. It was, if you're looking at the screen right now, It was in, it was on the black, it was under the hands, it was a perfect pitch. I mean, he follows up with a second pitch fastball, and I don't understand this. I mean, I don't understand feeding Giancarlo Stanton fastballs, and you see, obviously, you missed the location. I mean, that's dead red right there. That's the second one that's a little bit lower. I mean, that's more middle than the first one. Of course, he's going to kill that one too. I don't understand the pitch selection against Giancarlo Stanton tonight. I don't understand the pitch selection to Aaron Judge tonight. You know, DJ LeMahieu had some nice hits off mistakes, but I didn't mind the pitch selection. Anthony Rizzo hit a triple, which I felt like should have been a double. Felt like Adam Engel misplayed, but again, Cease just executed that actual curve changeup. But I feel like the actual pitch selection to Judge and Stanton is really what did Cease in, at least for the run part of it, because, you know, those guys got on base. He did end up walking 2 guys, and the Yankees did a great job of driving in those runners. But I feel like the pitch selection truly screwed up Cease, especially to Judge and Stanton.
And it might be had started because of the Aaron Judge at bat in the first inning. He throws a FU fastball to Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge flails and strikes out.
Yeah.
So that might have given Dylan Cease some confidence of, hey, man, my stuff is electric tonight, which, hey, man, if you feel that way, feel it, but also understand the game plan. Understand what these guys are looking for. 3-1, no fastball. I don't care if you have a FU fastball. Not to that guy. Not to Giancarlo Stanton. No, you just say, hey, here's a slider. You flail at it, you flail at it. You walk, it's tough to put you on, but hell, it's better than that rocket home run you just hit. So I think you get the confidence of, I can throw this ball past these dudes, which he did with Aaron Judge, who also can hit fastballs really hard. So that might have messed him up in thinking that I could do this all night long. And Giancarlo Stanton said, no, you can't, but please do.
Yeah, and I mean, Cease showed the ability to throw it past those guys. Let's go to the full line because it's a weird line. 4 innings pitched for Cease, 6 earned runs allowed, 6 hits, 2 walks, and 11 Ks. Oof. Yes, 11 Ks. It is only the second time in MLB history where a pitcher has pitched 4 innings and had 11 or more Ks. Do you want to know the other pitcher, Herb?
I think I saw it already, so it'll be cheating. So go ahead and say it.
It's Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon back in 2017. He pitched 4 innings and struck out 11 Cubs. It was a fantastic performance by him. He also had a 2 RBI double in that game. So he was doing his own work as the Sox would only score 2 runs in that game. Not really shocking for the 2017 White Sox, but it's just crazy. I look at this game from Dylan Cease, and let's go to the pitch mix here because, I mean, it's outstanding stuff when you just look at this graph right here. 44% fastball, 29% slider, 17% knuckle curve, 10% changeup, a huge uptick in his changeup. We saw him throw that 9 times tonight. He got 4 whiffs on his changeup. I mean, he had Anthony Rizzo looking silly on it. And the 2 that there was 2 mistakes that he did have. He left up the changeup to Rizzo and LeMahieu. You could see the balls in play being 2 over at the far right. The changeup was working, though. I mean, I like the fact that he had this changeup, and it shows you the importance of 4 pitches. I mean, this is a Yankees team that killed the fastball, so you really needed to locate the slider and knuckle curve today. And if you're going to be throwing the fastball as much as he did, you have to be able to throw them off. And we saw Rizzo be thrown off. We saw Stanton be thrown off. I mean, it was a good pitch. I really loved what we saw from Cease here today because he really tried to do everything in his might to get these batters out. I mean, a 64% strike rate. He did have 2 walks, but for the grand part of it, striking out 11 guys, getting 12 of your 11 outs that way, that says that's dominant in some way.
Yeah, he definitely had it working, but as with the earlier thing with Aaron Judge, he kind of fell in love with seeing Anthony Rizzo flail at those 2 changeups he threw with, and they were beautiful, but they're perfectly placed on the outside strike zone and floating, and Anthony Rizzo was Bugs Bunny on that one. He was way ahead of that one. But then they see that you're going to be featuring that, and you kept it up to DJ LeMahieu. 111 miles per hour. Later, that's a run. Anthony Rizzo with the triple, 95 miles per hour off the bat. Hose couldn't get to it because it was pretty much hit right where he was after the runner took off for second base. So there was no chance for him to get that ball. I just think that good plan, and he had great stuff. And it's good for Dylan to get this in his lifetime, to see, like, this team is no punk. They're nobody to play with. Now, you can either flight or you can fight. Right. And go back to the lab and say, okay, what'd they do against me? Rocket home run, rocket triple, rocket double, rocket home run. what do I do wrong right there? I just missed location. When my stuff was on, they couldn't see me. So I hope he takes this as a lesson. Like, not all the time do I have the best stuff, and not all the time do I have to throw that fastball to fastball hitters, especially in fastball counts. And go back to the lab and get better. That's all you can learn from this thing, because this performance was, it's a weird thing, because he did strike out 11 people, but it's unsatisfactory overall because he did get hit hard in the balls that he did miss. And you're going to miss a couple, but learning from this that the Yankees aren't the Royals, the Yankees aren't the Twins or the Guardians. They're a team that is a force to be reckoned with, a team that you don't want to see in the postseason. You just want to make the postseason. And you all have to beat the Twins to get there and hope somebody else beats the Yankees, because no more, friends.
And honestly, I think it's a little bit of bad luck too. I mean, Cease ended up having 5 hard hit balls today. 5 of the 7 balls that were hit hard. So I mean, not truly bad luck, because the 5 of the 7 that they hit, they squared up. Hitting them over 95 miles per hour, but all of them got down. I mean, 5 for 5 on balls that were hit 95 miles per hour today for the Yankees against Cease. And, I wonder what needs to be tightened up after this game, says Fred. And Fred says, who cares how many strikeouts he had? He had 6 runs, or he gave up 6 runs. I mean, like, I care, because, I mean, this is a major league pitcher. And let's go back to the pitch mix, because the big thing that you wanted from Cease was for him to be attacking the zone, so then that he would get guys to expand their zone and get strikeouts. I mean, this is how Dylan Cease is going to have a great start, night in, night out. I mean, the success was there. You're just going up against the Yankees, who are the best offense in the major league right now. And I understand that, this isn't the result that you wanted, but if Dylan Cease goes out and performs like this against, who would he be pitching against? I guess the Royals, right?
Yeah.
If he goes up against the Royals like this, I mean, you're going to see probably 15 strikeouts. And if Dylan Cease, strikes out 15, it's not going to have 6 earned runs tagged to it, because you look at the called strikes plus whiff percentage. We talk about this all the time. 27% is major league average. 40% today for Dylan Cease. That is well above average. Lucas Giolito, who just had that fantastic start, had a called whiff strike percentage of 37%. Dylan Cease was in the zone, and when he was in the zone, he was fairly unhittable. 20 whiffs. He had a 48% swing and miss rate. 48%, Herb, against one of the best offenses in the major leagues. I understand that the 6 earned runs look bad, but I think if you break it down at bat by at bat, I think that there are tweaks that he can make to make sure that he gets out Giancarlo Stanton out more. Because if he gets Stanton out more, if he gets Stanton out twice in this game, that's a completely different game. It's probably a 4 earned run game, a 3 earned run game for him, and 3 earned runs probably wins you the game here, because the Sox end up scoring 7. So I don't mind the effort tonight. I don't mind the output tonight for Dylan Cease. It didn't work. This is a complete flush it game. You've been so good this year, and this is a start that I think that he should build confidence off of, because the stuff was in the zone. The stuff was fairly unhittable, and not all the teams are the Yankees, because if you're going up against the Royals with stuff like this, great results will happen. Not good results. You'll get 7 innings. You'll get 10 plus strikeouts. That's a great result every time. He didn't go 7 innings. He went 4 innings, gave up 6 earned runs. That's not good enough, clearly, but I don't think you should be bashing Dylan Cease. I truly think that this is a good start. It's a good learning curve. And how are you different next time?
Good as far. I know what you mean.
I mean, good might be far. I understand that people are going to see 6 earned runs in 4 innings and push back on that. That's fine.
And I know we got to get to Vinny and an ad read right here, but I just got to say, like, it's good that this happened right now. It's early in the season, and you guys say it's always early. And it's good to see your team just get their ass beat. And like I said, it's either fight or flight. I'm going to go back to the drawing board and come out tomorrow and say, I love going against Garrett. Garrett's going to be a tough customer. And if Garrett Cole strikes us all out, cool. But I want to face the best to see where we stack up. And then we can go back and say, okay, this is where we've fallen short. Let's get some reinforcements. Let's get our games back together, because this is a team that we'll have to go through to get to the ultimate destination, and we're not close to there right now.
Absolutely. And your means dumper says we won't be playing the Royals in the playoffs. It'll be teams like this who we have proven to be unable to beat. I know that, but also you still have to play them in the regular season and live, learn, and grow. I think this is a good learning experience from Dylan Cease, because he just showed you that his stuff plays against the Yankees. It just wasn't perfect tonight, and it gave up 6 earned runs. But if it's perfect against the Yankees, you might see 2 earned runs in a White Sox win because of Dylan Cease. So I'm just saying this stuff, the way that he pitched tonight, can be a winning performance or a mix to win against the Yankees. I like the performance tonight. The best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. That's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. PointsBet is your home for live and play betting, and it just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's newest feature, the live NBA same game parlay. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live NBA same game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game, and if you want more, you can boost your live same game parlays. You can watch live, parlay live, and boost live with PointsBet. Online signup is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. It's time to be joined by Vinny.
Hello.
You can follow our CHGO White Sox beat writer on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. It is Vinnie Duber joining us from the Chicago White Sox press box in a lovely Grateful Dead t-shirt. What's up, Vinny?
Hey, guys. How are you tonight?
Good. How was the fireworks show from Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge? And I guess you could throw in Josh Donaldson, too.
Hey, I mean, if you like baseball is going long ways, then what's there to complain about? That was pretty fun.
I know,
right?
Dylan's a competitor, and we're lauding him for striking out 11 Yankees because they're a tough team. But how did he take this loss after giving up the 6 earned runs in the 4 innings he pitched?
He called it the weirdest stat line he'd ever been a part of. That's probably accurate. But he wasn't happy, right? I mean, listen, you know what these guys are like. At this point of me telling you this every night, they want to win. They don't want to lose. And when they go out and are a big part of the reason that the team lost, they're not going to be happy. So 6 earned runs will do that. The way the game played out, obviously, it was a team effort in being able to call this one a defeat. But yeah, I mean, listen, Cease was simultaneously great and simultaneously owned by the Yankees, right? I mean, I always say to you guys, right, multiple things can be true at once. Well, there you go. There's the most glaring example right there. He dominated and got dominated on the same night. Weird, absolutely, but that was the case.
Weird, and it gave us 20 minutes of content. So, weird is always good because I think we could probably still talk about this stat line and only the stat line for an hour. It's nuts. It was crazy stuff just to watch from Cease. What was the reaction from Tony? Did he like the performance? Is that like a good enough effort for them to win? What was the vibe on Tony talking about Cease's start?
Well, not specifically on Cease's start, but he was very happy with what Cease was able to do. In terms of the strikeouts and stuff like that. But he walked in and he seemed like he still maybe hadn't quite figured out what happened. He kind of looked up and said, I didn't believe it, but I saw it, and so I have to believe it," kind of thing. Seriously, you got 2 outs in the 8th inning in a tie game, and then all of a sudden you lose by 8 runs. I mean, that's a rarity right there. I mean, this game, I always talk about, that it's everything that happens over the course of 9 innings that determines the outcome of a game. And that remained true tonight. But Joe Kelly can't be walking that many guys because they all scored. And that 8th inning was ugly. And it was ugly because the guy that you expect to get guys out didn't do it and didn't do it repeatedly. So again, kind of just weird, I guess, is the word that you would use to describe it, because we talked to Joe Kelly after the game and I said, how these are the Yankees. They do stuff like this. It's hard to do. And he goes, yeah, but I've faced him before and I should have gotten him out. So, there you go. That's you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but losing some by 8 is not something you want to be doing on a very regular basis.
No, and especially the way that the Guardians game just ended too. We talked about this before. They get 7 runs, they get outscored 15-7. They get 9 runs, they get outscored 12-9, and then give up a 6-run lead. I just want to follow up real quick. Did Tony or Joe mention where it might have went wrong, or the at bat or anything like that, where it probably started getting a little bit away from them?
Yeah, I think Joe kind of intimated that he was nibbling a a little bit. He basically said, that he was trying to get guys out by throwing pitches on the edge of the strike zone, which is what pitchers do, and it wasn't working. And he didn't really stop trying to do that, and it went against him tonight. Some nights that's going to go his way. That strategy is going to work perfectly, and other nights like tonight, it's going to blow up in his face. He said basically, he said to me, he goes, "I'll face him again, and I'll go right after him."
Yoan Moncada had a great game, even though his only stats showed up as 1 for 5. Hit the ball really, really hard. That first ball looked like it was to be going to center field immediately, but I don't know what happened there, the wind or whatever. But that second ball, no doubter. Did the guy speak about that big-time momentum shift from Yoan Moncada and his bat being very valuable going forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically exactly what Tony said, that, he's gonna be a weapon for this team, and to put him in the lineup and get some immediate results after he hasn't played for a month is a nice sign for these White Sox. Obviously, you kind of expect sometimes when guys have had that long layoff that they're going to have to kind of take some time to work their way back. That's what you see every year, right? At the start of the year, coming off of spring training, it's like, all right, well, it's still April. They haven't found it yet. They haven't figured it out yet. When you see a guy figure it out right away, right off the bat, that's encouraging. So, yeah, Yohan Moncada is I mean, I think everybody knew it, an important part of this lineup that they were missing, and now he's back in it, and he's showing exactly how important he is.
And did they talk about this game kind of being, or this series being, a measuring stick? Because I know people think of it because of last year and the losses to Houston as, man, they can beat the AL Central, but losing to the AL East and teams like Houston are kind of deflating to the fans and to, I don't know if it is to the players themselves or Tony themselves.
Well, I think it's funny. I tweeted a quote that Rick Hahn said way back on the day of the home opener. I tweeted that before today's game, and I think this is a measuring stick series for everybody that isn't the White Sox. You know what I mean? Like the fans are going to love this or hate this series based on the outcomes, obviously, but they're going to love to pay attention and see where the White Sox are right now. But Rick Hahn's quote from the home opener made total sense, which was, he doesn't look at a series in mid-May against the Yankees as being a measuring stick, even though, this is the best team in baseball right now, record-wise, and it's a team that everybody is expecting to be there toward the end of the year. But the White Sox aren't what the White Sox want to be at the end of the year right now. And the Yankees, a contender, are probably going to be quite different, be it because of the ups and downs that they go through, or maybe, a trade deadline acquisition that they need to make at the end of July. They're going to be a different team at the end of the year. So if the White Sox and the Yankees play again in October, let's say, you're not going to be able to draw on, well, remember what happened in mid-May. Well, that ought to indicate what's going to happen this time around, because those teams are going to be in different places. Certainly, White Sox fans know that because of all the guys that have been on the injured list, guys that are not performing up to the levels that they normally perform at right now. The idea is the White Sox want to be in a much better place than they are right now toward the end of the year when things really, they matter the most. But by the time the September ends and you get into October and you're playing a team like this, that's when the measuring stick comes along. And unfortunately, we saw that exactly in the ALDS last year, measure the White Sox, how they measured up to the Astros, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, and I want to talk about one person who is not living up to expectations so far. I know Yasmani Grandal is a guy that is probably under where we expect him to be right now, but it really does feel like Jose Abreu is struggling a little bit more than he normally does. 0 for 5 tonight, had the worst stat line, I think, of any Sox batter tonight. He's hitting 207, 288, 333. We obviously talked before the season that this might be the final year of him in a White Sox uniform. What's the vibe around Pito right now? Is it a jovial vibe? Is it a vibe you've seen before, and maybe it's just a little bit of a slump here? What's your read on Pito and how he started in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows that Jose Abreu is consistency defined, right? And I'm not even talking just about what the stat line looks like at the end of the year. I'm talking about him as a player, as a person, as a guy who shows up to work every day. That is what he preaches to not only himself, and when he talks to us about what he is doing, but what he preaches to all the guys that he's kind of been mentoring over the last few years. It's just keep working, be the same every day, and trust in what you've done before and the work that you've put in, that it's going to show up. And I think that everybody can kind of believe that when it comes to Jose Abreu. I mean, again, this is a long season. It's not like what his batting average is today is what his batting average is going to be at the end of September. Now, it's not to say that that's impossible. Guys have bad years. That's fine. It's understandable sometimes, but this is Jose Abreu we're talking about, and it's a guy who has made a very nice living and built a very nice reputation on turning in much of the same production on an annual basis. So I don't think he is a guy that you get worried about over the long haul. Obviously, in the moment, it's frustrating, and when you've got him underperforming, Yasmani Grandal underperforming, and Eloy Jimenez on the injured list, the guy, what was supposed to be the middle of your order is not able to do the job that you expected them to do. That's obviously going to have an effect in the moment. That being said, wouldn't worry about Jose Abreu, until much later in the season. But, you got a point.
Before the game, Tony spoke about what's going to happen on Monday as far as the Kansas City series, and then possibly seeing Johnny Cueto on Tuesday. I also was wondering.
Hold on. We're bringing this up, and we're not actually going to bring up what the real story with this is, because Vinny is starting for the White Sox. That's the actual quote that we got to get to.
I was going to let him say that quote.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I know.
Finish your question. My bad.
I was just wondering who is going to pitch on Tuesday, Vinnie Duber.
If my number is called, that'll be news to me. It was news to me today. No, it was funny. Tony was being asked about Johnny Cueto, and I just kind of I wanted to clarify, see if he was ready to announce his starting pitching for Tuesday. And I said, is he an option for that Tuesday doubleheader in Kansas City? And he just looked at me and said, you're an option. And I was like, all right, well, I better get practicing then, because that's not very long from now. I think the last time that I threw a pitch was on the concourse, the speed pitch here at what was then U.S. Cellular Field. I attempted. This was my delivery back in high school, was trying to do a Dontrelle Willis impression with the windup, of course, the leg kick all the way up as far as your leg would go, and then just let it rip. But in the process of doing that, sunglasses flew off. They broke on the concourse. The reading, to add insult to injury, was not impressive.
Oh, come on. What was it?
It's the Royals, though.
Yeah, well, that's true. But no, I was going to say, you put me in the game and you'd be lucky, and you'll not be happy by the end of the first inning. And I was like, what am I thinking? I'm getting through an inning? Come on, you're not going to be happy by the end of the first batter. So yeah, that's not what White Sox fans need to see is me on the mound. And really, me in a uniform, that probably wouldn't be that great of a look either. It's a little, those tend to be a little tight.
The mustache will probably look good in the uniform, though.
Well, people turn on their TVs and wonder why they're showing a replay from 1972.
And the per diem too. Just tell them, hey, don't put me in the game. Just give me a uniform and give me that meal money.
There you go. They'll be selling my game worn jersey at the garage sale at Sox Fest in no time.
What was the speed reading? Come on, you got it. You have to remember it.
Oh, there's no way it was over 60. No chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so is it fair to say I probably throw the hardest out of the three of us here?
I mean, yes, I don't throw that hard.
You're not 50, busting out 75. All right.
No.
If any of us threw, though, it'd be like.
But if I break my arm, you better watch out when it heals.
Rookie of the year style.
Damn right.
My favorite part about that movie, I don't know if you guys remember it detail by detail, but I do. My favorite part of that Mets game, the final game where Henry pitches in, it is to win the division, to advance to the World Series, and it's the NLDS. So it's just a whole bunch of garbage written into to Rookie of the Year. I want to go to a guy who's not currently on the team, but will be on the team hopefully soon. Maybe you can give an update on him, but I can give you an update on what he did tonight. 2 home runs for Andrew Vaughn, and he's wearing this sweet-ass Knight helmet in the Knights dugout. First of all, what's the update on Andrew Vaughn? When can White Sox fans expecting him to be hitting home runs in a White Sox uniform?
Yeah, so kind of a little bit of both from Tony La Russa earlier today. He said that, take his time, the regular stuff that you hear when guys are coming back from injuries. He said likely probably wouldn't see him any sooner than Monday in Kansas City. But then he kind of added at the end there, we'll see what he does, and maybe he could be back sooner kind of thing. Well, he was pretty good tonight, so right. I'm guessing that hand feels okay. But who knows? You know what I mean? It obviously was taking longer to die down. That bruise was than anybody was expecting. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, but I think the idea at this point, probably won't see him any later than Monday in Kansas City either. That's just my reading on that one.
All right. So would you say there's a chance, though, maybe he comes up Friday or Saturday?
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
It's possible. We'll find out. I think the idea is they want to see how he feels, right? I mean, they're not gonna send him down there, just play one game, and be like, all right, well, we need you. And Tony mentioned this. You don't want to bring a guy up just because you need him or want him. You know what I mean? He has to be ready to go. And if that hand is feeling good right away, then maybe he's here a little sooner. But again, no need to rush it.
And then the final thing I have, and I think the final thing we got for you, I just want to talk about the decision to keep Joe Kelly in, because I know people were upset about that. I don't know if Tony commented on the decision to keep Kelly in after he was walking guys left and right. Was there anything said about that post-game?
Well, I mean, I think you could probably just guess that it's like, this is Joe Kelly. Let him he can get it out. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the thing is, like, obviously that spiraled out of control a little bit because you're not expecting Joe Kelly to walk 4 guys. But he got the ground ball. He got what he needed to get out of that inning. Obviously, he put himself in a situation that he never should have or wanted to put himself in. But he got the ground ball, and it ended up going to the exact place where it didn't help out the White Sox. I don't think leaving Joe Kelly in was the problem. I think a lot of people were questioning the Tanner Banks move, and I can tell you what Tony said. He said that he was going, had the game stayed. It was basically that they scored. They took the lead, and he was ready to – he had mapped out his pitchers for the tie situation. He was going to bring Hendricks in the 9th if they were tied. He was going to use Matt Foster in the 10th. It sounds like Kendall Graveman was not going to pitch because he wanted to use him tomorrow. Then they took the lead, did the Yankees, and so he called on Tanner Banks with the idea that he would want to save now Hendricks and Foster as well as Graveman for tomorrow's situation as well. So when the game changed, when the score changed there, when the lead changed there, that changed Tony's thinking on deploying his pitchers. So he went with Tanner Banks.
Appreciate the update and appreciate your great work over at Guaranteed Rate Field. Again, you can follow Vinnie on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, and you'll probably see him warming up in the parking lot this weekend, just getting that arm loose for KC. That's why you wanted to drive, man.
I mean, you'll be in Kansas City,
this is why
right?
He's making an emergency trip down to Kansas City, Herb. We knew it. He laid it out in the meeting. We knew why he was going down to Kansas City.
The conspiracy theories are flying, and it's all Tony's fault for calling on me today in the press conference. But no, listen, I got some good news for you. Not a lot of innings on this arm, so fresh as a daisy.
Good to hear. You can follow Vinnie Duber on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, and you can read his work at allchgo.com. Have a great night, Vinnie.
Take it easy, guys.
See you.
Peace. You can become a member at allchgo.com. That's where you'll get premium written content by our great writers like Vinnie Duber, like Ryan Herrera on the Cubs side. And if you become a member, you get a free shirt. We have dope merch. And when you become a member, you get a free t-shirt on sign up. If you like our brawler socks down in the bottom corner where Herb is pointing, you can get that on a t-shirt and looks real slick. And hey, it is free when you become a member. You also get access into our CHGO lounge. It's a members only Discord. So if you want to chat with us during the game, you get the opportunity to. It's just like texting your favorite buddies, Herb, it's a good time in the CHGO Discord.
Oh, it's a great time. So people are smart. They're passionate. Join us because we'll all talk. Sean gets in, talks every once in a while, starts the conversation. Myself, I usually reply to what people are saying. So we're all there. Get the LCHGO membership so you can talk to her privately.
Absolutely. Intimately. That's a different feature, I think. You got to pay a little bit more to get the intimate part. But if you enjoy CHGO, another way to help us continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now. Your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest. Mute your mic. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook, easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. It's all good. I mean, who cares? It's Ziggy. He's cute.
He's a jerk. He knows I'm recording. What the hell? He just wanted to be on the podcast. What a jerk. He's in the total different room. If you guys saw the broadcast yesterday, I usually broadcast from the bedroom intimately. But today, people need to go to sleep. I have a fiance that's a lawyer or a law student. And so she needs her beauty rest for work tomorrow. and that dog is in that room too, and he's acting like a dick. He just was pissed that the White Sox lost, and then thinking about Garrett Cole going to the bump on Friday.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't blame
he's
him.
very sad.
And Garrett Cole's going to be facing up against Vince Velasquez, and Jack is saying, is Cole pitching tomorrow? It could be 10-0. Let's talk about Garrett Cole, and let's talk about the White Sox offense, because they had 7 runs tonight, which was impressive. But let's look at Luis Gil, and I want to make sure I'm saying this right. It's not Luis Gil, like
Tony.
you know, the
I got
Gil.
Tony.
Yeah, like not Tony Gill, Luis Gil. So I got to get a little bit better with my pronunciations.
Gil. Yes.
Gil.
That's
So
usually
like
an H sound. Yes.
Yes. And I did not know that until Jason Benetti and Steve Stone started saying that on the broadcast today. So that was good to be informed on that. But let's go to Louis. Now I'm blanking on his name. Heel's pitch mix here. Is it Luis? Yeah, Luis. I didn't want to say Luis for some reason, but Luis Heel. He threw 59% fastballs today, 35% sliders, and the thing too, Herb, is he had good called strike whiff percentages on his fastball and on his slider. He got 4 called strikes on his slider, 3 on his fastball. But the biggest thing is the 11 whiffs that he got from his fastball alone, 17 in total, a 37% whiff rate. I just feel that looking at this, I mean, I'm concerned about the White Sox versus fastballs. First off, I mean, them facing heat, 97, 98, 99 miles per hour, that just seems dangerous alone. I mean, you look at Dylan Cease on the mound today, and Giancarlo Stanton's not fooled by a fastball. Aaron Judge isn't fooled by a fastball. None of those guys are fooled by a fastball. But you see Tim Anderson trying to swing at this fastball from Luis Gil, and it's brutal. I mean, he's swinging and missing completely, swinging out of his shoes and not even making contact. I have a lot of concern coming out of this game that this guy who had a 10 ERA down in AAA can come up and do this against the Sox, because I feel like they should have tagged him for more.
It's the White Sox approach. I was texting you earlier in the game. I was like, this is going to be a long day. Little did I know it was going to be like this, but I was thinking that Heel was going to do his thing versus the White Sox because of that first inning approach where they're just flailing at balls. You said it was 9 pitches in that first inning. Mm-hmm. Really, you don't got a scouting report on this guy. He's pitched in the majors, once or twice last year. This is his first start this year. Take a couple pitches, see what he's offering. Yes, 98 looks tantalizing, looks great. And Tim wasn't ready for the first pitch. He let that 98 just go right past him, and he swung eventually, but it was already in the catcher's glove before he did that. Yeah, we should have tagged this guy. We should have got more runs off of him, because it seemed in the second inning we got a better approach. Third inning, better approach versus this guy. You see him a little longer, and he was mostly throwing fastballs. He should be, and if I was a pitching coach with the Yankees, fastball slider. Throw the slider much more than he did. What did he throw it, like 30% of the time tonight?
Mm-hmm. And more, it was still effective.
It was very effective. He should be throwing that much more, because the fastball, as we saw, the White Sox caught up. They only had 7 hits, but every single White Sox in the lineup had a hard hit. Every single one of them. Luis Robert had 3, Moncada had 2, and Yasmani Grandal had 2, and everybody else had a single hard hit of the night. So they were getting to him. But as the White Sox luck is this year, those hard hit balls weren't all finding spots in the grass like the Yoan Moncada hit. Off the bat.
Yeah.
Didn't you think that was a home run?
Yeah, well, the Moncada one, I thought it was a home run off the bat, but then you see where it was angled. It was like 37 degrees off the bat. So, I mean, it was sky high, and I think the wind knocked it down. And you see the other one that he hits, very similar off the bat. The first one was 107 at 37 degrees up in the air. The other one was 109 at 27 degrees. That's why that one went out, because it was on more of a line. So, I mean, if you hit it on a little bit more on a line.
But usually those go out every year. Those go out.
I think if he pulled it, it would have. But the issue was that he hit it to the farthest part of the park. I mean, that's the issue, I think, on that one.
And that's why, said it went up 37 and the launch angle. The wind knocked it down, and the wind is affecting the ball much more this year than it ever has. It seems like, because off the bat, I was like, that's a no doubter. Come on now. And then eventually with his second hit home run, he really no doubted that one. I love to see the Yohan Moncada backdrop, because it's smooth as hell, almost Ken Griffey Jr. like, but I haven't seen enough of their 5-hitter, Yasmani Grandal. You were talking about Jose earlier. Yasmani Grandal. What's going on? What's really going on with him? Can't hit, pass ball again. I need a catcher who can catch, and that guy who hit 23 home runs last year to show up. I know he did the same type of thing last year, got hurt, came back and was a different player. But if you're hurt, go on the IL. Let's call somebody else up. This effort right here with the 508 OPS won't play. We cannot have it. Not in the middle of the lineup.
No, I mean, you're 100% right on that. I mean, it's been even Jose. I mean, it's been really disappointing seeing where they're at. And last year, Yasmani was still better than where he was. The batting average is a little bit improved. It's at 169. Yeah, 169 this year. It was at 125 through 26 games last year, but he still had 44 home runs through 26 games last year. And the big thing too, through 26 games last year, he had 29 walks, and he has 16 this year. So I mean, that's the issue. I mean, he's got to start walking more. He's got to be productive, whether that is driving the ball, getting more extra base hits, hitting the ball out of the park, or just getting on base. I mean, it needs to be something from Yasmani, and he's been getting into good counts. I mean, you could still see the patience is there. It's just he's not being able to take advantage of getting into those hitters counts this year, or hasn't been able to so far.
And while I'm crapping on Yasmani Grandal, I want to give kudos to AJ Pollock. He's off the interstate. Same with my guy, Lurie Garcia. He had a couple good things. And then, of course, Lurie got picked off of first base right after he had the nice RBI single. I like those guys. They're going to be valuable. AJ Pollock's probably going to play a majority of the games that the White Sox play, and his hot bat will register for the White Sox awesomely. That double down the line to give us the first run, and then the single off of like a 99-mile-per-hour fastball low, and he took it to right center field. Pure. That's nice. And we profiled him as a guy that can hit right-handers very well. I think he hits right-handers last year much better than he hit left-handers. So if these guys start going and we get a guy like Andrew Vaughn back, Gavin Sheets continues his progression, I have no problem with this offense starting to be who they really are. And if our worst problems are Jose Abreu and Yasmani Grandal, I think we're going to be in a good position, because I know the back of the baseball card will show up for those guys eventually.
It just puts more pressure on Eloy. It puts more pressure on Andrew Vaughn, and it's fine. Those guys need to step up, but it's just frustrating that Abreu isn't here yet. Grandal isn't here yet. It was great to see Moncada be back up. And I mean, you're right, though. I mean, that was a laser shot. You've been saying top 5 third baseman in all of the major leagues. I would just push back on it still. But if the power is back, and Jason said, and I think that he is right, that was a 2019 Yoan Moncada swing. We have not seen that in a couple of years here. And that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this game. I am trying not to worry about the 8th inning. Joe Kelly will be better than what he was today. That's a fact. Dylan Cease, I think, had a mix today that will work against, good clubs. I think he needs to be a little bit tighter. He needs to be a little bit sharper. That will happen. It's fine. It's the regular season. This is an outing that you could have won the game with. He gave up 6 earned runs. You scored 7. The bullpen needs to be better. I think the hitting needs to be better. I think you need to damage these pitchers a little bit more. But if Yoan Moncada is like this, and I said this before the season, this is his year 27 season. He's understanding now everything that pitchers are trying to do to him. He understands what it's like to go through a season. He understands what it's like to get ready and to get up. And I understand he had that error in that Cleveland game, but this is where he's going to make his true difference. Hitting the ball, and hitting the ball with power. This will be a huge year, because if he's able to have 20 home runs and 20 doubles, that is something that is going to give so much relief to this lineup. It's going to, force Tim Anderson to have to do more at the top of the lineup. It's going to force, Andrew Vaughn to be in less pressure situations. Eloy can just relax a little bit more. Than maybe Abreu and Grandal can relax a little bit more. But if Yoan is like this, that second spot gets a whole lot easier just to pencil in his name or fill it in with permanent marker each and every day. Fantastic to see the start that he's getting off to, coming off an injury.
This is the last thing I'll say about it. Manny Machado, Jose Ramirez, Nolan Arenado, Rafael Devers, Yohan Moncada. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Chapman. Put him in there.
I mean, Austin Riley was pretty damn good.
Put him in there.
Austin Riley was pretty damn good. They don't win a World Series without Austin Riley. So I think you got to at least give him a little bit more credit.
Would you rather have Austin Riley or Yohan Moncada?
Austin Riley hit 33 home runs.
Would you rather have
33 doubles last year?
Or Austin Riley?
Right now, I'll take Austin Riley. Austin Riley had 30 home runs and 30 doubles last year. I don't think that Yohan Moncada has ever done that. And maybe if he has, it's been like 3 years. But hey, if he's able to do that like 2019, I will have no problem putting him as a top 5 third baseman. That's the discussion here. We're taking bright spots away from this, Herb, is that Yohan Moncada might might be back. And you mentioned it too with Luis Heel. First inning, 3 out of 3 first pitch strikes. In that second inning where they ended up scoring runs on him, 3 out of 7 first pitch strikes. In the third inning, 3 out of 4. And then when they scored again in the fourth, 4 out of 6. So, I mean, patience was a virtue there, and they did a great job making sure that he was throwing pitches. And I think that they could have even done a better job, if we're being honest. And there was a lot of meatballs over the plate that I feel like Jose Abreu or Yasmani Grandal should have gotten up to. So that's why I feel like this Luis Heel thing, I think the White Sox should have gotten a better effort out of the offense tonight. And I think this game would have looked a lot less lopsided than it did.
I did forget about the couple of cookies that Jose Abreu got on Heel's slider that just hung up there. They were juicy fast arc sliders over the middle of the plate, cement mixers. Usually Jose Abreu, when he's going right, that's on the concourse. But he's not going right now. And I don't know if this is a guy that's been playing baseball for 20 plus years, body wearing down, and maybe can't call for that extra he usually gets. He just needs a calendar. It just says August. Like today is negative 56th day of August. And when you get to August, it'll be August 1st. And then in September, that's August 32nd. Like, we just got to continue to give him calendars because he kills in the month of August. The weather is August-like. I expect him to be hitting tomorrow. I don't care if Garrett Cole's on the bump. Hell, we got to come and play, man.
They have to come and play. You're absolutely right about that. But also, like, it's 82 degrees out. Is the ball not flying? Because I just saw the Yankees hit the ball, and the ball's flying for them. So I really can't give too much, like weather or anything like this. And I know that's not really what you were doing there. No. But, I mean, today is a night that shows you the ball's flying fine. The Yankees and White Sox are the team that hit the ball the hardest in the league. And you know what? The Yankees hit the ball harder tonight. The Yankees had a better approach tonight. The Yankees did way more damage to a much better pitcher. I feel like the offense, you should have gotten more from them tonight. I really do. You look at the line, only having 8 hits. I feel like that should have been more tonight. And I think that's where you end up losing this game. But whatever. I mean that's it. You end up losing it.
You end up losing it because you win that 100% of the time.
Yeah, and you end up losing it. I know, obviously, people are going to mention the home runs in the 8th inning there. That shouldn't have happened regardless. I mean, Joe Kelly shouldn't be walking 4 guys. I mean, that's a very, very bizarre inning. I think that Tony probably should have pulled the hook a little bit earlier before it gets out of hand. And again, Vinny even mentioned it, that Kelly was nibbling. You can't nibble in those situations because you have real hitters coming up, like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. I'm not saying Gleiber isn't, but Gleiber was nothing. I mean, Gleiber was the guy that Vinny was tossing into trade packages earlier this year because he might not have fit with that team if they signed Carlos Correa or Trevor Story or something like that. And, I think it's such crap that the White Sox were in this game. You get that huge home run from Yoan Moncada, and this is the end result, losing 15-7. It's just so disheartening.
You just turn it right around. Like, you just get that in the half inning before that. So you tie it up, the crowd's back in there, everybody's with you. You can measure up versus a team that has dominated you the whole game up to that point. I don't know what you felt when it was 7-4. I thought, man, the Yankees have dominated the White Sox and we're only down by 3. It's a great sign. It's kind of like right now with the White Sox being down by 2 games to the Minnesota Twins. They're playing great baseball. White Sox are not playing their greatest baseball, and they're only down 2 or 3 games. That's the optimal place to be when you're playing poorly. The White Sox tied it up. Momentum shift. Let's do it. And then Joe Kelly, I don't know if he looked in the mirror today and said, "I'm Joe Kelly. Don't laboratories do your worst, bro."
Right.
Here's a sinker. Enjoy. Or here's the curveball. Better middle. I don't care. Gleiber, if you can hit it, you can hit it. But like putting runners on via the walk breathes life into an offense. Any offense, especially this murderous row of offenses. Damn, this offense is so goddamn good. DJ LeMahieu was just like underrated, and he just cracks balls everywhere and kills your offense. I do not like facing that guy at all. In the video game, in real life, he always hits.
Yeah, and it just felt like it's going to be like that the whole entire series, that they're just going to always hit, that you throw anything in that zone and they're just going to hit it. And I want to talk a little bit too about some of the decisions that Tony ended up making. Matt says should have let Dr. Freeze MD Ryan Burr in. I'm assuming that's to face Joe Kelly here, but I sent you this photo after Aaron Judge hits a ball 456 feet. Can we see that graphic? I think I pulled that one. This might be the farthest ball I've ever seen hit at guaranteed rate field. I'm not sure. I have to look it up on StatCast, but 114 miles per hour off the bat, 456 feet. Ryan Burr comes in for a second inning, and I don't understand why he's pitching to Aaron Judge, especially with the ball game and the situation that it is at. It was 6-4 at that time, so they didn't have a lead. Makes sense with the bullpen tier that we put together. Ryan Burr being in that third tier, a guy that you trust in either a winning or losing situation, but definitely you want to use his arm first. So I guess I understand just trying to get some length off of him, but especially after Judge hits that home run, I really felt like the Yankees were just going to coast and take that game. And when Yoan tied it up, I was like, all right, here we actually go. I mean, this is a real moment here where Yoan unloads, and it just ends up feeling like Gavin Sheets' home run against the Astros, where 10 runs later you get your ass whooped.
Yeah, and I maybe Tony felt the way I felt at that point. Game is pretty much over, even though we're close here. We're like real close to beating the Yankees, but you can see that team's superior to us in every way, especially tonight. And so Ryan Burr will get the shot tonight, especially because it's early in the game. Jose Ruiz did his thing. I appreciate him coming in the fifth and doing his thing. That's why he's on my second tier, Sean.
Yeah,
Not my third tier like you.
Yeah, we got to revisit that tier list.
Oh
too,
my God!
I don't know if Joe Kelly can be second.
Joe just got kicked off
after that night. And Sean's saying lots of positive signs tonight. Yankees are a hot team right now. I guess the biggest negative is the fact that you have to face them 3 more times.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. I'm not looking at the White Sox winning an AL Central title as a good thing. That's an expected thing.
Right.
So when we go against teams like the Yankees, like the Astros, early in the season when we went against the Mariners or the Rays, I feel those should be measuring sticks. If you say, like last year, we're the best damn team in the American League, show it. And I haven't seen it. And the Corn game was great. That was our one win against the Yankees. Can we get more? Can we compete with these guys toe-to-toe? I know Garrett Cole's a tough customer. You put your pants on the same way. See it and be it tomorrow. Find a way. Vince Velasquez, you have to come up with your biggest start, because I feel you lose tomorrow, it can be a lost weekend, because then on Saturday, Dallas Keuchel's going to the bum, and it doesn't matter who the Yankees are putting out there. And yes, you have Michael Kopech going on Sunday, but Nestor Cortez Jr. is no slouch at all. He's going to be out there doing work too. So tomorrow is the defining game of the series. We need to win that one.
Yeah, and I'm going to just go back to the Rick Hahn quote that Vinny brought up. And it says, look, man, if you're saying how we do in a 4-game set in May against the Yankees as a measuring stick, it's fun for fans to look at. And when you get the playoff-like environment, you feel that added energy. But in the end, this is a 6-month marathon. And at any given snapshot, whether it's the home opener, mid-May, or early July, you're probably dealing with some things that you won't be dealing with come October. Sure, maybe it's nice to get a little snapshot for where you sit at in a given point in the season. But in the end, where you end up is all that really matters. And I understand. And as long as the White Sox, again, meet that expectation of winning the AL Central, I think that they're going to be fine with this year. But Rick says it in there that it's a playoff-like environment. And do you know what? There's a reason why I feel like the champions have come out of the AL East and the NL West, and obviously in the NL East too. Very, very good divisions, because I feel like they're always playing in these tense, very, very important games. And I think that's part of why the White Sox just don't have that punch, or haven't had that punch, because when they're going up against their division, they're expected to win, and they're expected to have good outcomes against the Royals and Guardians and Twins. And it's disappointing or even infuriating when they don't have that success. I just feel like they're not in playoff-like atmospheres enough. I mean, we see that the only playoff atmosphere that you get from the White Sox is when they're actually in the playoffs, and you get 2 games against the Astros. But outside of that, it really doesn't feel like this team has tense playoff-like moments throughout the regular season, where I think you could, jump into a Red Sox Yankee game from last year at any point. And even if they don't have a full squad or whatever, they still have a playoff-like environment. And I think that does benefit teams. I think that you really can't overlook that.
Well, the White Sox have to create that for themselves. They have to create the urgency for themselves and understand that these games all matter. But put a spotlight on the Cubs series, because that's your rival. Put a spotlight on the Yankees series, because they're the top dog. Put a spotlight on the Astros series, because they dogged you last year. Even put a spotlight on the Oakland A's from a couple of years ago because they beat you in that. Like, there's got to be some urgency, got to be some type of, man, we're going against this team. Yes, it's only a game in May, and we shouldn't be excited about it, or we shouldn't get extra hyped about it, or put extra meaning to the games. But damn it, like you just said, the Yankees go against the Red Sox 18 times or 19 times a year. They feel it every game of those 19, and they feel the intensity. The Rays series, the Blue Jays series. You don't think they feel it right here with the White Sox? Like, oh, this young up and coming team, these whippersnappers who beat us in the corn game last year, we dominated them all the rest of the games, but we want to show them a little something. We want to show them that we're still on top. And just like I said with the Tigers, like, they saw us on the opening day. Like, they want to show us that this division is not going to be a walkover. They beat us in the opening day, and then the White Sox responded back to them. It's like, hey, y'all are still little brother to us. And that's what the White Sox need to get up for these games. Enjoy the atmosphere, the electricity that's going to be there tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and realize that this is a measuring stick. No matter what your GM says, do the opposite, because whatever you guys have been doing, it hasn't been working. You guys are really, really lackluster, and like, it's just sad sack to get beat like this, get beat like they get beat the other day versus Cleveland. It's very disappointing.
Right, and you see that Alex Rude brings up the Tigers on a pace for 154 losses this year, so that's one hell of a team to really play it tight in that series. And hey, I mean, we saw at the end of the series, they ended up winning 10-1, and you see the Twins going up against the Astros. They get swept today in a doubleheader, and you talk about creating your own adversity. You lose 3 straight here to the Yankees, and I worry about how far you fall down. I mean, if you lose 4 here to the Yankees, you're going to be 15-19. 4 games back of being 500. You're already 2 games behind in the division. And I understand Minnesota just lost, they have a 3-game losing streak here. They're 5-5 in their last 10. It's not like they're red hot, but it really feels like it's going to be difficult to find a win for the Sox here in this Yankees series. They got Garrett Cole as their opponent next game. You have Garrett Cole, who's pitched 2 games since 2019 against the White Sox. May 22nd, 2019, he went 5 innings, allowed 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. And then on May 22nd, 2021, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 Ks. So I would be expecting a big night from Garrett Cole. But you look at the past history, the Sox hit him once and well in 2019, and they did okay against him in 2021.
The 2019 one, after that, he went on a streak where he didn't lose. The White Sox were like the last team to really tag him that year, and they weren't even ready yet. There was a 2019 team that wasn't a champion as yet. But I think the White Sox got to go into mentality. It's like, that guy puts his pants on the same way as we do. Yeah, he has fastball, he has knuckle curve, he has slider. It's going to be a tough battle. But hell, let's go out and battle. Let's understand that this is a very, very important game for us. Vince is going to go out there and give us whatever he needs. It might not be enough, but we know we're going to have to score some runs off of Garrett Cole to win this game. It won't be the Yankees getting shut down by scoring 3 or 4 runs versus Vince Velasquez. We're going to have to score 10 tomorrow. We're going to have to score something ridiculous to support our pitchers, because they've been supporting the team for the most part the whole year.
Absolutely. I would love to see the White Sox outslug the Yankees. That would be a great victory to see tomorrow. And we got Alex saying Charlie Tilson hit a home run or a grand slam in that game.
Did you know that was Charlie Tilson's only White Sox home run?
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's some fun stuff right there.
Yeah, he's only hit 1 home run versus the White, or on a White Sox uniform. Did you also know that he went to New Trier?
I did know that. Yeah, I heard that Charlie Tilson went to New Trier, but thank you for reminding me. That's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox post-game show. We got to let you know that Charlie Tilson is from New Trier. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us in the chat. Shout out to Mike, Alex, Zach Fake Name, CNI Plus, Jack, Sean, Fred, all you guys for hanging out.
Edgar earlier.
Appreciate it. Edgar, who was at the game as well. We do appreciate it. My bet was Sox would be 7 back when Lance returns, but I don't think it'll be that bad considering the Twins are the Twins. I think that's true too. I don't think 7 back will happen with the Sox. The schedule does get a little bit easier, and you will see, the Royals 4 times. You'll see the Cubs 2 more times. The White Sox should be able to take advantage of that. But we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be one hell of a show on Sunday when we reconvene, Herb, and we see these two other games against the Yankees. It might be 3 straight losses. It might be, you know, some shocked faces with Dallas Keuchel and Vince Velasquez twirling gems. It will be entertaining, to say the least. And we'll talk to you on Sunday as we return with a CHGO White Sox postgame show from an air-conditioned CHGO studios. But that's it for me, Herb. Anything else you got?
I got nothing else. It's a depressing game to know that you're not as good as this Yankee team. I knew it before, but you know, for them to pound it into my brain, it hurts. You don't have to do that, Yankees.
To get confirmation like that in a 2-out 8th inning rally where they score 7 runs, yeah, they didn't need to do it that way.
Like no one was on base.
No,
like 2 outs, and no one's on base, and like okay, 7.
And then Joe Kelly put him there, and that's what happened. I want to give a shout out to Stephen Nicholas and Joey for your help on the show tonight. Joey was real clutch in helping us out with some graphics here, as we did have an emergency situation at the CHGO studio. So appreciate Joey and Stephen's help. Vinnie Duber joined us a little bit earlier in the show. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. That is Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. And I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the CHGO_White Sox account at CHGO_White Sox. And for Fleetwood Mac and their 1979 album Tusk, we thank you very much and go Sox.